Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Birdfinger's channel, Fort Langford. Uh, Tonight we're going to talk about what do you do with an animal once you killed it. Well, we're going to back up here a notch. Now, this is assuming that you're dealing with wild animals that you've hunted and trapped and the like, and or hit with car, and you get that animal. Well, let's back up a little bit and start before you even go hunting. Before you go out hunting or out to run a trap line, first thing, the way I was taught, first thing you do before you do anything else, you pray. You thank the Creator for giving you a chance to hunt, giving you the ability. You thank Him for making the animals that you're going to eat. And you promise that you're going to use as much of that animal as you possibly can. Then you talk to the animals you're looking to hunt or trap. You talk to them. You tell them that if they give their life for you, they're not going to be disrespected. That you'll do everything you can to use as much of them as they can so nothing goes to waste. Well, then you go out hunting. And you get a deer or a coyote or a fox, bobcat, raccoons, muskrat, beaver. You don't want to be eating any members of the weasel family. That make you come to a bad end real quick. But rest of them, you kill that animal. Always take some tobacco and lay down there by that animal. Say a prayer that his spirit goes on to wherever animal spirits go, I guess. And tell them again, I'm going to use them best I can. And then I take them and field dress them right there usually. And first thing I do is check the liver. And if the liver's got little white spots all over it or little tiny black spots all over it, that's one you're just going to have to bury. But if it liver's nice and clean, and you put that in a plastic bag, and same thing for the heart, you take that out. And most animals you can eat, heart's pretty good meat, and put that in a plastic bag. And the rest you put where more predators can get it. You know what animals you're hunting, what animals go through there. So you cover it up like they would a kill. That way it won't go to waste. And you bring the rest home. You get home, you skin it out, and you start getting ready to tan the hide. Now, if you're going to brain tan, this is the point where you want to have your plastic bucket, little plastic container like you get from the deli, and a lid. You scoop that animal's brains out. Now, Creator gave each animal enough brains to tan their hide. And so, if you're going to brain tan, that's what you're going to use, is the brains. But you fold that flesh to hide, and you fold it skin to skin and roll it up till you get back to it. And you put them brains where it'll be nice and cool. And then you get on to the rest of your animal and clean it and fix it however you're going to eat it. And when you're done, you're going to have a lot of bones left. Or if you're butchering, say you got a deer and you butcher them and you got a lot of big old pile of bones. Well, You know them rib bones on a deer. They make just one of the best fleshing knives for small animals you're ever going to meet. It's curved slightly, and it's sharp on one side and dull on the other. Use that sharp side to scrape the hide. Small animal hides, it works good on anything up to a raccoon. Leg bones. Well, when you butcher a deer, you usually don't use anything from the knees down. So you got that big long bone there with a hoof on the end of it. Well, depending on what you want to use that bone for, if you want to use it for a dance stick for native dancers, well, then you just salt the end of it and stack it up to one side, let it dry. And if you're not going to use it for that, you want it for soup, well, then you cut off the foot and you boil the toes off, the hooves. And you take them hooves, you can use them either scrape them out real good and use that scrapings for glue, or you can take them toes and clean them up best you can, let them dry out, and you put them on, drill a little hole in them, put them on a string. And you know, there's guys that spend a lot of money buying fake deer antlers. Well, you make a string about 8 or 10 deer toes. Leave a little room in between them so they rattle. You go out and rattle that, they'll make you just as good a rattle as any artificial deer horns are going to. And then again, if you know native people, some of them use them in their regalia. And you find out about folk medicine. There's a lot of uses for deer parts and animal claws and that in folk medicine. Well, learn a little of it. You ain't going to be running the doctor or the hospital if everything's all gone SHTF. And you better learn a little of that folk medicine because it works. And but anyway, you take smaller animals, and you take them rib bones. And again, if you ain't going to use them for soup, or even if you do use them for soup, you're not going to can them. You know, you boil them down, get all the marrow out of them you can, and all the flavor out. Well, then you still got these bones. Well, you cut them up into bead sizes. And there's a lot of crafters around that'll buy them bone beads from you. And so you're not wasting it that way. And then don't forget, of course, the big chunk of your meat there while you're doing all this other stuff. You got to remember to process your meat. And this is just a little note here for somebody that's living in a city. Say you're planning to bug out and, well, everything got a little bit ahead of you and you end up stuck in town. Well, any town I ever lived in, any city, and that'd be Milwaukee, Boston, Houston, Los Angeles, San Diego. You know, I run trap line in all of them, and nobody didn't know I was doing it. And you can catch a lot of coon in there. You can catch a lot of coyotes in most cities. And, you know, oh, I'd never eat raccoons. They're eating garbage. Well, you know, wild raccoons eating a whole lot of stuff you wouldn't want to know about either. But if you're really worried about it tasting gamey and that, well, that's what cider vinegar is for. And you give that a good wash, maybe let it soak in cider vinegar for a little bit. That'll take most of the rank taste out of it. But anyway, getting back to what we're doing, the important thing is you don't want to waste anything. The bones are worth something. The guts you can save, put in a bucket, and put them in a glass jar. Put a screen over the top. Put the cap on lightly and bury the thing. And you got some stink bait started. It's a curiosity lure. Learn how to make trapping lures. Get a trapping catalog. They tell you what's in the lure. They just don't tell you how much. And everybody has their own formulas. So you can do that with it. There ain't no reason to just kill an animal and take one or two pieces of meat and throw the rest away. That's wrong. And that's going to be about it for this lecture, I think. And always remember to be really grateful. Give thanks to the Creator. Thanks to them animals and give you their life for you. I doubt if you do the same for them. Not willingly. Okay, so with that, I'm going to end this for now, and thank you for being here. Like and subscribe, please, and see you down the road.